Ramsey recently posted a video saying you can safely withdraw 8% a year and have your nest egg last for the rest of your life. Here was his logic. The S&P 500 has returned on an average 12% in the last almost 100 years. So 12%, if you give yourself a 4% COLA to keep up with the historic 4% inflation average, that leaves you with 8%. 12 minus 4 equals 8. So he said you could withdraw 8% a year. What I want to do is look at somebody that would do that. Let's say somebody begins with $1 million and they're going to withdraw $6,750 a month, which would be 81,000, so just over 8%. 81,000 a year they're going to withdraw. You want to give themselves a 4% COLA, so that's going to go up 4% each year. Where would that individual be? I want to look at 100 years of data, and I want you to notice something. In 1923, where would that individual be? Here are all the numbers. This is a summary box right now. I want you to notice something. You run out of money in 19 years. Why is that? After all, the 30-year average, he's averaged right over here. For the 30-year average beginning in 1923, you averaged 12.55%. So why would you be run out of money if you take out 8% a year? You shouldn't even touch your principal, should you? The problem with looking at a 12% average is it doesn't always follow that. Look what happens from 1923 on. By the time you get to 1929, you're hitting all these things, and yet you're still taking out that 8%. So you're knocking down your principal by 102,000, 106,000. At the same time, the market's going down. I want you to watch this. Here's the 30-year average, 12.55. How about 1924? 12.34. You're still running out of money after 19 years. How about 1925? 13% average over that 30-year period beginning in 1925. And what I want to show you, these numbers are running out. Here's the red showing. I'm going to update this using Dave's numbers, the 8%, because he said you're getting 12%, which in fact you're getting lots of times you're getting more than 12%. Right here, you're getting 13. In fact, I go down 3, or you're going to see 13, 13. The only time you start getting below 12, you're still at 11.62 in 1928. Why? Because you're hitting all these down years. Even 1929, 11.48. 1930, you back up over 12. But what I want to show you, I'm going to update this, is going to show the columns how much money you have after 10 and 20 years, given the scenario of withdrawing 8% of your money when you're getting 12% average return, at least 12%. This shows you right here, and yet look what happens. Updating this, look how many times you run out of money. 35 times out of 80 years, which is 43% of the time, you're running out of money. In fact, sometimes you even run out of money after 10 years. Why? Because you're hitting these down years, like we can show you right here in 1929. If you were to take out 81,000 beginning in 1929, watch how quickly you run out of money in just 5 years. Why? Because the market's going down, so the amount that you're taking money out of is going down drastically, down by 8%, down by 24%, down by 43%. Pretty soon you're down to 201,000. So that by the time you get back, again, the average for the 30 years beginning in 1929 was 11.48. So if you look at averages, yeah, it should have kept going, but you run out of money because by the time you get these plus years, up plus 47, plus 33, you're already out of money. So what is 47% of zero? Zero. You're out of money. And you can run this for year after year after year. You can see the 30-year average, 11.62. Let's just go down a couple more years. 1937, the average is 12.25. What? You're out of money. 1937 right here. Out of money in 10 years, actually. Because you're taking money out when the market's going down, so you're depleting your balance, so it doesn't have time for it to come back when the positive returns come. That's why Dave's advice of taking out 8%, his math of 12 minus 4 minus 8 is suspect, because you don't get a guaranteed 12% every year. Yes, you can average 12%, like right here, 30-year average, 12%. I can click over and over and over again. You're just going to see 13, no matter where I pick it, 1948, 12%. So yes, the market average is 12%, and you can take out 4% for inflation, but then you run out of money. So what's the answer? What's the answer? First of all, when the market's going down, don't take out anything, but also take some money initially when you retire, put over in a cash reserve account so that when the market does go down, you're taking the money out of the cash reserve instead of out of here. So in these first 4 down years, you wouldn't be taking it out of your balance here. You'd be taking it out of the cash reserve over here. But still, given that scenario of withdrawing 8%, you're still going to run out of money. You go back to the typical 4% rule, and you're not going to run out of money. Let me show you this. 4%. Well, let's do 3% inflation. The only time you're going to run out of money is 1929. One time out of the last 80 years, 100 because you can't go past 2003 because it wouldn't have been 20 years. But one time, 1.23% of the time, you would have run out of money. Why? Because it was such a terrible down time. But every other scenario, you're going to have money left over after 10 and 20 years. In fact, you can look at the numbers right here. What percentage of the time you're going to have over $500,000, over $1 million, and so on. Again, the important thing is not to look at this 30-year average over here, but look at what the market's doing initially. If it's going down, you need to step back and not take money out of your S&P 500 account, but take it out of your cash reserve instead. We could look at other options also, but hopefully this makes sense to you that don't go with what Dave Ramsey recommends. Why? The numbers show that you're going to run out of money if you do this. If you have the 4% inflation, even though you're getting supposedly 12%, well, here just under 12%, you're going to run out of money, and not just in 1929, but you're going to run out of money year after year. 35 years out of the 80, 43% of the time, you're going to run out of money. 1929 was a worst case scenario, but you pick any of these other years, you're still going to run out of money. It might last a little bit longer, 16 years here, as opposed to 1929 lasted only 5, but you're still going to run out of money. You can't take 8% out each year just because 12 minus 4 equals 8. You've got to look at what the market's doing. Again, consider subscribing to our channel, $1 Million Made Easy. Please subscribe. Please tell people these numbers. This is a refutation with historical data. This is 100 years of historical data showing that you can't just take 8% off. In fact, the old rule of 4% is probably the best way to go. Just go with the 4% and see where you might be. In every case, except 1929, you still have money left after 29 years. Well, actually 28, 29, and 30 because I raised it to 4%. So you're getting 12% or close to it right here. You're taking 4%, inflating what you're taking out each year. And only in these, and there's one other year, I think it was the year 2000, 4 times in the last 80 years you would have run out of money given this scenario. What's the easy answer? Just go back. Go back to 3%. Updating this gives me 2 years there. Go back to 2%. You still got this. The best thing to do is make sure you put some money in a cash reserve account so that when you take the 2%, you inflate it by 2%, withdrawing 4%, you're going to have money left over. Look, there's no reds in this column anymore. That's how you deal with your withdrawals. Even in a down market, even in 1929, you'd still have money left because you cut your cola from 4% down to 2%, and you had 30% over in the cash reserve. Again, thanks for watching, and please tell people about these numbers. This is the proof. This is historical data.